What?
If Rebbe wants, we could try harder.
Yeah. I'm saying, so, Baruch Hashem, we're very fortunate. That was what I got. And that, you remember those days probably, but you were in Lakewood by Rav Shneur, no? So they were all talking about Rav Shneur was sending people out to go out of town. What?
I have one of the last pictures of him out at my Chumash party. 2 days later.
So Aaron Cutler said that his father so much so believed in sending people out of town that in my classmate there was only 2 other people in Lakewood. The whole day school had 3 kids in my class. So he said, and I went out of town at 11. The Shiva, my brother, he only had 1 other classmate, and I guess he didn't want to be with her. So at 9 years old, my father sent him out of town. But I only had 2 kids in my class. So all of a sudden one day I show up, I only have 1 kid left in my class. I said, what happened? Your father sent this kid's family to Toronto. Sorry. So he said, who would go out there and cut their kid's class in half to go send them out of town? Okay, Zalmi, that wasn't your days. That wasn't in your days, right? What? Yeah. All right. Okay, so let's start. So we're going to do, but we have booklets also. Besides what we have here, we have the booklets. But this is a Gewaldika Sugya. Shaila is like this. I don't even have to introduce the Shaila. Let's just learn the Gemara. Amar Rava, Baba Kama, Samach Beis Amud Aleph. Baba Kama, Samach Beis Amud Aleph. The Gemara handles like this. Amar Rava. We're dedicating the shir for the schus of the campaign for today. Okay. Amar Rava. Hanoisen dinar zav liisha. V'amar Allah hizari boy. He gives a dinar zav. By the way, this sugya is going to be the cross section between what we did Lazman and what we did Dizman. What we did Lazman was Nezikin, and what we did Dizman is Shoimrin. And the cross section between them is going to come from this sugya over here. Hanoisen, you're going to need that later. Hanoisen dinar zav liisha. V'amar Allah hizari boy shakesefu. He tells a great case. He gives a woman a bag of gold, or a piece of jewelry, which is platinum gold. So it looks like silver. It's gold. And he tells her, be very careful because it's silver. Meaning he undervalued the gold. Why did he do that? Taisa says maybe he did it because if he would have told her it's gold, she wouldn't have wanted to take it, maybe. Or maybe she would have been all anxious the whole time. So he said, he said it's silver, it's still expensive, but he didn't say it's gold. Vihizi kosoi. And she got frustrated with this guy, because the next day he did something to her, and he fired her, and she was his secretary, whatever. So she damaged it. She took the ring and threw it away. Or she damaged it. So does she have to pay a value of a ring of kesef, or the value of a ring of zav? Here's the shaila. Shmaka shaila. She was mazik the thing. It really is gold, but she thinks it's kesef. Zok the Gemara, Mishalemes dinar zav. She has to pay the value of gold because that's what it's worth. She damaged my item and it's worth gold, so she's got to pay. Mishum da Amar Allah, because he could tell her, "My have a look, gabei dazikte. You shouldn't have been mazik it whether it was gold or silver. What's your problem? Why are you doing that? It's my item. What are you being mazik it for? You got to pay me the full value of whatever it is." But Pasha boy, let's say she was a shomer on it. Let's say that case was a little different. I told you, can you watch this jewelry? It's silver jewelry. And she watches the silver jewelry, but she watched it in a way that if it would have been gold, she would have watched it a little more carefully. But because it was silver, she took it down a notch in the shmira, and Lemaise got stolen. Pasha boy, and Lemaise there's a pshia. Mishalemes shel kesef. She only pays the value of the kesef. The Amra le nitirusa de kasva kabili alai, nitirusa de dahava lo kabili alai. I was only mekabel shmira on kesef. I was not mekabel shmira on zav. Okay. So there's 2 parts to this sugya, and let's break down the 2 parts. The first part is the reisha. the reisha of the sugya, which is, why do you have to pay when you're mazik, and then we'll go to the seifa. Let's split up the case, yeah? So the first question is, why when you're mazik it, do you have to pay shel zav, as opposed to shel kesef? So, is it because, right? Does the oil hear that halacha?
Stop it, that's what you damage.
What?
You pay for what you damage.
You pay for what you damage.
No, it's just the damage of whether it was gold, silver.
You have no rishus damage whether it's gold, silver. Okay, good. Let's look at the fifth wide line where I bracketed it out. Hahu gavra de botash bekaspa de chavre. There was someone that kicked over a container of his friend. Shadye bin Ahara, and he threw it into the river. The guy is sitting there. He has a box, he has a cup, he has some sort of container, and I'm annoyed at the guy. So I threw it into the river. Okay. And I know that the container is a nice plastic container that you can buy in Walmart for $6.99. If he's annoyed at me, I'll pay him the $6.99. You're not allowed to do that, but I'll fine. Lemaisa asamare, the owner comes. Amar hachi v'hachi havali begava. I had some diamonds in there. So what? But it's Talmud Be'esh. But here's Adam Amazik. So Yosef Rav Ashi v'kamayin be'ki agavna mai. What's the din? Amli Ravina l'Ravacha breid derav, Amli l'Ravacha breid derav l'Rav Ashi. So the Amoraim say, Lav hainu masnisin detnan u'moidim chacham l'Rav Yehuda b'madlik esabir shemasham kamash b'soichai shekein derech b'nei adam l'haniach b'batim. Amli ida katoin zuzi hachanami hachat katoin marganisa mai mi manchi in marganisa b'kasper loy. If he said that there's money in there, then it's a good taina because it's normal to keep money in a container like that. And Memela, since it's normal, when I knocked over the container, I have to pay for the money inside. But if he comes and says that there's a diamond in there, and it's not normal to have diamonds in there, I don't have to pay.
Is it the monies? We don't believe
So instead, I don't have to pay for the diamonds because it's not normal to have diamonds in there. The question is, what's the noise over here? What's the difference whether it's normal or not normal? Is it because, like Reb David's saying, if it's normal, we have no nemanos over here. We don't know. It's a box. He's coming and saying, by the way, I had $1 million cash in there. So maybe that's the case. And on that, the Gemara is saying, if it's normal, then he's believed. If it's not normal, he's not believed. Right? Or Tosfos, Zok Tosfos, look at Tosfos. Zok Tosfos, miman chiyinish marganisa b'kas boilei, afilu yesh edim she'aya boy marganisa mi boilei. They're edim. So, I had no idea, Reuben has no idea that there's anything in this container. He goes ahead and kicks off the container into the yam, like Yosef Mekir Shabbos. Okay? So the hat goes and flies into the yam. The owner comes and says, I have witnesses that there was a diamond in there.
Doesn't mean that person who took the responsibility knew about it.
No, this is not shmir now. Now, I'm walking in the street, this guy has a container sitting there, and I for no reason went and knocked it off. But there's a diamond in there. So what David was saying is it because we don't believe the owner? No, we believe the owner. So if we believe the owner, the kasha is, what's the Gemara saying that there's a difference whether it's normal to put diamonds in there or it's not normal to put diamonds in there? What's the difference? Bottom line is, if what Daniel is saying is, what you're saying is, you pay what you damage. And Lamaisa, I knocked off this thing off into the yam. I damaged the stuff. Lamaisa, there's a diamond there, I should have to pay. So Zok Tosfos, Deshema lo iboyle la asuki adaite lahai. I don't have to be asuki adaite. How would you translate asuki adaite? It doesn't have to be on my mind a possibility, even a slight possibility that a guy would keep a container with a diamond sitting there on the edge of the fishing. You know, everyone's going fishing over there, and on the edge of the thing, he has a container that has diamond. I thought he had some bait and garbage over there. I go ahead and flick it off. Ha ha! My diamond was in there. So I don't have to assume that type of mitzias. What's that? V'loy amrinan mai havolei gabei da'azke. Kivin do l'regili inchi lanuchi klal. It's not normal at all. V'loy what about the case when I gave the lady a platinum gold ring and I told her it's silver? So there, why does she have to pay? Does she have to asuki adaiti that maybe it's zav? So yeah, she should, because she should probably think to herself, is it really gold? Maybe just telling me it's silver because the whole reverse psychology thing. Maybe the reason he's telling me it's silver because he knows that if he would have told me it's gold, I wouldn't have taken it. So Shiguba knows that. So since Shiguba knows that, she should think twice before she's mazik.
Was he Makadash or is
No. He made her shomer, but she was mazik. But she was mazik. V'loy domi ladin azav de le'eldi boy le'asuki adayte tfei de pa'amim shomer kain de yorek shemaisu yadashu shalzav lo haisa shem rasai. So unbelievable Taisvis. The Taisvis says this whole thing, which we started with, that if you're mazik something and you don't know the true value of it, you have to pay. You have to pay the true value. Taisvis says it has something to do with the fact that you should assume that maybe it has that value. Okay? So, why is that? So David said, here, it's a Gishmak. David said, because it's an Einis Gomer. This is where it connects to Lazman. Lazman, we learned that even though Adam Muad La'olam, but Tosis' Shita is that if it's Einis Gomer, you're Potter. And this is considered Einis Gomer. How am I supposed to know that you have a diamond in there? I have no tzad in the world that there's a diamond in that container, and if I'm mazik that container, I shouldn't be chayv to Einis Gomer. But I was very, very bothered, because we have a Ramban. In Lazman, we learned that the Ramban argued on Taishas, and the Ramban hold that you're chayv adam muad lo'ilam even on Einis Gomer. So how did the Ramban learn this Gemara? It's going back and forth. Baruch Hashem, we found the Melchamas, is the Ramban, argues on this Taishas. And L'shitasa, it's good for Shmak. The Ramban says, not like Taishas, he says like you, the Shai of the Gemara is the Ne'emonos, not Eidim. If there would be Eidim that there's a diamond, you'd be chayiv. It doesn't look like this. The point of the Gemara was that I knocked over this container. The guy comes and says, "Oh, there was $300 cash in there." Okay, it's common for there to be $300 cash in such a container, so therefore we believe it. But if he comes and says, "Oh, by the way, I had a diamond. It wasn't just a regular diamond. There was a diamond that just picked up from an antique thing. It's worth." It's not a believable claim.
What's
That's
not Kamila?
It's not a believable claim.
If it is a believable claim, I'm chayiv to pay. He doesn't have the money. It's come out the mazik. I say, I don't know how much I was mazik. He says you were mazik $1 million. I pay $1 million.
Okay, so it's a whole long Ramban over there, but he says, that's what the Gemara means. Either Katar and Zuzi Hachanami. Mimanchi Inish, is it normal or not? He's fitting with what's normal. So Mamela, there's a umdana that he's right. So comes out that the lumdus of this first halacha is totally in a machloikis Ramban and Toisros from last man. This is Gishmak. You come along, you have no clue what's going on, and there's something there that has some value, and you step on it, you damage it. Do you have to pay? According to Tosfos, if it's not shaykh for anybody to have assumed the true value of it, you don't have to pay. According to the Ramban, you're chayiv. And since the Ramah paskined like Tosfos last time, so Memela, you could be Mekel if you're the Nizik, or Machmer if you're the Machmer if you're the Nizik, and Mekel if you're the Mazik. Okay. But anyway,
According to Tosfos, how is he mechalek between the case of the Isha when she's mazik and she's shemeris, the Mikado?
okay, so we'll get to that. We'll split that up. Now, next case, the case that I put on the chat, not to Zalmi's dislike, which is a guy gives you a, I was going to respond, that he gave you a pastrami sandwich. It was just like the turkey bologna, like some turkey bologna instead. So, but anyway, so Lamaisa, he gives you this watch, and Lamaisa, you see what it is, and you assume this guy doesn't have a real watch. It says Rolex on it, but Lamaisa, this is a fake watch. There's no way this type of guy has that watch. And mainly you weren't so careful with it. Comes the next day, you lose it, and he comes and tells you that I yashin that from my grandmother and then my Lamaisa, and he's Neman. Do you have to pay the value of the watch?
People will go on assumption that he didn't have money to pay for it, assumption that he didn't have the watch. I think if someone's giving someone a watch, a value or a diamond, whatever it is, you need to.
Okay, so
this is worth X amount.
right. So let's get into this case.
It's the opposite of our case, because here, on his own accord, he's assuming that it's not.
Correct. The difference in the cases is, I mean, I really skipped. It really is more in the case of Shomer, because if you mazik it, even it's poshut according to everybody, you have to pay. Because for sure you have asik adaite of Tosfos. But now we have to go to the other case of Shomer. Okay, I'm sorry, I really got ahead of myself. Let's go to the seifa of the din before. So the first case was, the guy gave you the wrong information, he told you it's worth less than it is, you damage it, for the most part you have to pay, unless there's no havamina, like Tosa says, and according to Ramban you have to pay regardless. Comes the next case, you're a shomer now. Now remember last 2 weeks when we started the Hilchos Shmira, the first introduction to Hilchos Shmira was that you have to be makabel Shmira. Shmira is it's not a metzias. If you put something by me and I'm watching it, that doesn't make me a shomer. What makes me a shomer is I have to be makabel the Shmira. That's what we learned last time. Hanach lefonai, put it here, put it there. We learned about the airport cases. You're relying on me, I'm relying on you. The reality of Shmira doesn't make you a shomer. What makes you a shomer is that we had a dialogue and I was makabel the Shmira. Comes this sugya and says, hold on, what were you makabel? I was makabel shmira of what? Of a silver thing, not a gold one. So therefore, since I was only makabel shmira of this, so maybe it's different. So comes along the sugya, and the sugya says, if told that it's silver and then it's gold and I'm pesheya, I did not fulfill my shmira, I'm chayev. I'm sorry, I have to pay the value of the silver, but I don't have to pay the value of the gold. Okay? So that's the case where I want to talk about what about the watch. Okay? But first let's get the fundamental yisoid of the sugya. Why am I only chayev the value of silver, not the value of gold? So there's a very, very long k'tzos that's not printed in the booklets, because those booklets, they don't have the k'tzos on the page. But just to give you a feel for the k'tzos, the k'tzos starts here, and okay, not so bad. It's a very long k'tzos hachoshen, and it goes here. So it's a very long k'tzos. The k'tzos has two tzdadim in this halacha. The first side he wants to say is maybe there's different levels of pshia. Meaning, I was only pesheya klape, not watching it for silver, for gold, but I wasn't pesheya on the silver shabbai. But then why would you have to pay the silver? And he has another raya very interesting raya. Let's say, it's not Adam Mazik. Let's say it's a little bit of a complicated raya. I'll say it quickly and we'll get to the point. By Momen Amazik, okay, Momen Amazik means my property damages. We never really learned this, so yeah. We learned about Adam Amazik, but by Momen Amazik, you're chayav for pshia, if you wouldn't shomer it properly. So let's say I have a fire, or I have an animal, easier case, I have an animal, and I was not shomer it properly. Now I know that my animal is going to go and step on that kli. But I don't really care, because I was told that the kli is a kli of silver, not of gold. So I'm pesheya. But it's only pesheya because I thought it was silver. Then it turns out it's gold. Do I have to pay the silver or the gold? So the Gemara smashma, you have to pay the gold, because the Maisa you're a pshia. So he says, you see from there that it's not a different level of pshia. The pshia is the same level of pshia. So how come over here, or when you're a shomer, you're also pshia? Why don't you have to pay? So he says this unbelievable lumdus. And it's a whole yisod in shomer, that the chiyuv of a shomer has to do with what he was makabel. It's not because I was poisheya on someone's thing. I'm irresponsible. No, it's not because I'm irresponsible. It's because I accepted upon myself that if I would be irresponsible, I'll pay. That's the var. A shomer is, I'm makabel on myself the chiyuv, that if I'm poisheya, if I'm irresponsible with your thing, I'm willing to pay you. So then you have to go into the exact nuance, what were you makabel? And since you're only makabel to pay, assuming it's silver, you only have to pay for silver, you don't have to pay for gold. So this is the lumdus that he says, b'negiyah this halacha. Let me see it to you. Let me see if I can find it inside. So he says, mazik pays for the pshia itself. By shomer, you don't pay for the pshia itself. He says that the chiluk is how much you makabel. Let's see. Aval b'shomer vada, I feel b'shomer tzachad the chayiv mishum. The chol hashoimrim eina elami daitam. A shomer is only chayiv on his own das. Sure, tzoynam lehischayiv bekach, that they're willing to be mischayiv if they're pesheach. It has to do with what you're makabel. So, based on the first two shiurim that we learned, that the shaila of shomer is how you makabel shmira. If I'm in the airport and you put it there, was I ever makabel to be a shomer for you? No. You relied on me, but that's your problem. I was never makabel the shmira. So now that's what we spoke about the whole time, right? How does it go? How much how do you make a Kabbalah of Shmira? But now we're taking it a step further. Not only have to Makabal the Shmira, you have to Makabal the Shmira of something specific. And if you're told it's something else, and it's this Takamaisim B'chol Yoim, because the guy gives you a box, just take this to Eretz Yisrael. He doesn't want to tell you that it's, whatever it is, worth money, because it's legal. But he doesn't want to tell you it's worth money, because I don't know, then you're not going to want to take it. Why would you want to take it and risk and this and that? But you're makabel to be a shomer, But he I don't mind. I'll be a shomer if it's a box of baby clothes for the newly born grandchild, right? But if you tell me in the box all of a sudden it's going to come out other things that's worth a lot of money, electronics and this stuff, I'm not interested, right? So you didn't tell me. So my whole Kabbalah Shmira was only on what I thought it was. Okay? And that's how we pass in Shulchan Aruch. Now we can see the booklets. Okay, let me see the have one. So let's see how this is brought down in the booklets. It's on page page 27. Page 27 says like this: Afilu kishekibel alav, even once you were makabel. You're only chayiv to pay the value of the chayfetz that you thought it was. Lishmar shem nasan lishmar dinar zav. That if you gave me a dinar zav, v'amar lo hizar b'shal kasefu, and I was only told it was silver, upasha boy, and I was negligent, v'nev, and I got lost. Einay chayiv el b'shal kasef. I only have to pay the value of the silver. Sheyomer lo kibalti alai el shmir as dinar shal kasef, because I only accepted upon myself the kasef. V'chein kol kayoytze bazeh. But if I damage it, I have to pay shel zav. So this is the halacha that we said. Okay? Now, before we see the Ramah, there's, on the other side of the page I gave you, there's a Mordechai and a Yam Shel Shlomo. It's not in the booklet, it's in the side page. And he talks about the Rolex case. Now, he's not the Rolex case, but he talks about the, there's a Mordechai, Maisa. It's in the top left corner, it's bracketed there. Maisa, the Mordechai says a story. Sheshal Reuven Mishimon Saif. Reuven borrowed from Shimon a knife. Shahaya loy b'mashkein me'ovik kachavim v'avdoi. And he lost it. V'hayashoya loy Shimon davar gadol k'mo sheshal mimeno ovik kachavim. The knife was worth a lot more than I thought it was. I thought I was borrowing stam a knife, and the guy went ahead and gave me this really expensive knife. So, does the person who accepted the knife have to pay the true value or only the value that he thought it was? You only have to pay the value of a regular knife. Because that's all I was makabel of a netirus shel saif yakar loy kibel alei. And then he brings our Gemara. So that means that if a regular knife is worth $100 and this knife is worth $1,000 for some reason, I didn't know that it was anything special. Since I didn't know it was anything special, I don't have to pay the special amount. You should have told me. But on the bottom of the page is the Yam Shel Shlomo, is the Marshal. And he brings the story of the, look at the question. Din misha mafkid l'chaver even toiv v'chol kli yakar shemishalim kol shavyav v'imu. Fine. So he brings the story of the Mordechai, and where I underlined it, it says v'emes shetzarich in gadol. But I don't like the psak of the Mordechai, because the whole case, like the Olam was saying this, the whole case of the Gemara is when I was tricked. The guy who gave it to me tricked me. So the guy who gave it to me was himself Paisheya. Why did he tell me it was silver and not gold? He should have told me. So he takes a little bit of fault here. Since he takes a little bit of fault, of blame, you can't be mechayiv the shomer for the value of the gold when it wasn't his fault that it was gold. But over here, Adrabah, like I'm saying, I gave you a knife. You accepted the knife. You know that there's a range of values in knives. If you want to accept it, go do your research, what it is. Or ask me. Punk fakir. Now it's the pshia of the makabel. So if you give me an expensive watch, this is what Zalman was saying. You give me an expensive watch, Why are you giving it to be shomer? If it's a fake watch that I bought for $3.99 in Walmart, why would I give it to you to be shomer? I mean, you made too many assumptions here. So if I'm giving it to be shomer, you should at least ask. Is this real or fake? What is it? So here the blame is put on the shomer. He wasn't tricked. The shomer made an assumption. So here, fakert, zokti yam shloima, the shomer is chayiv. It's not like the other case. Because here, there's now you could say, according to the Ketzaisis Lumdis, Lamaisa wasn't makabel that. What?
Maybe you didn't want to embarrass the guy by insinuating that it's fake.
Okay, so then don't take it. Or don't ask him, but then assume that it is enough that you. So Lamaisa, the Shach, I think, brings down this Yam Shel Shleima, and says like this. The Shach says, he brings it down. No, he doesn't bring it down. Obviously, it's going to be hard to paskin this Shaila Lamaisa, because it's going to be a machlokes between the Mordechai and the Yam Shel Shlomo. And therefore, the Shomer will say Kimli like the Mordechai, and I'm not chayiv. But the Yam Shel Shlomo Lamaisa is machayiv him, and it's important to know that. One of the case that they talk about, which is similar, is you gave someone Leichter to watch, and they thought it was silver plated, and it was full silver. So again, same thing as this Shaila. And if you weren't fooled, it's one thing, and it looks like another. So that would be the thing. Now,
what if the Oifen of Shmir is the
right. So you only have to be mechuyev to be shomer it according to what you were makabel. You ask the question is, according to the Ketzaisis Lumdis, how do you understand the Yam Shel Shlomo? Lamaisa, the Mordechai makes a lot of sense.
You can still say the Yam Shel Shlomo is maybe not to the same extension that you're saying it. In case I give somebody a watch, what right did you have to assume just because I'm not, you made the assumption that I'm the guy who's going to wear a fake Rolex. Maybe maybe somebody gave me as a gift. It should have been a 50-50 in your mind. What gave you the right to make that assumption?
So the way he learns the Yam Shel
if it's so boilet, if it's the town shtar asks you to watch his watch, you have a right to assume that he's gifting you to watch a fake Rolex, and even that the Yam Shel Shlomo will be masking.
So the way he learns the Yam Shel Shlomo is that I was makabel to watch this thing. As far as the value, will be mishar the value whatever it's worth when I mess up. So it's chal v'shmir on this item, and I'm willing to pay for whatever happens to this item. What it's worth, that doesn't go into your Kabbalah because he brings a raya. Let's say you accepted the gold. I took the gold and I accepted the gold. All of a sudden, gold tripled in value. Do you say I only pay the value when I was makabel, or do you say I pay the value I was pashea 3 months later and it went up in value? I pay the higher value. Which one? No, you pay the higher value. Possibly. Ketzaisis shita, you pay the higher value in general. That's the first ketzaisis in the simon. You pay the higher value. Why? I'm accountable to be sure of this thing, but if I'm accepting responsibility for pshia, and the value we're going to estimate later. So he brings a raya from there. The value of the item doesn't go into the Kabbalah. What goes into the Kabbalah is the chiv on this item. But if it's gold or silver, so it's two different items. But if it's one item, so I was makabel to pay and makabel myself full achrayis on this item. What it's worth, I don't know what it's worth. We'll figure out when I'm pashia what it's worth. And Mamela, if it's worth more, that doesn't go into the Kabbalah, so he holds like the Marshal. Because the Kabbalah doesn't go into the value doesn't go into the Kabbalah. Only which item it is goes into the Kabbalah. But anyway, it's a Geshmak Sugya this because it brings in like everything from before. So Lagabe Adam, so let's chazer over. Lagabe being mazik an item and you didn't know what it was. We have a machlokes Tosfos and the Ramban l'shitasam. Tosfos that says you're put on Oines Gomer says here also if there's an Oines Gomer, I have no way of knowing what it's worth or what's in there. I'm potter, but generally you're chayiv because you should have assumed that maybe or been more careful to assume that maybe it has more value than you thought. Lagabi shoymrim. So if you're misled, you're only makabel the Ketzaisis Lumdis. You're only makabel the whole Kabbalah we learned till now. How do you makabel to be a shomer? You're makabel to be a shomer on what you know you're being makabel, and since you know you're being makabel kesef, you're only mechuyev for that. As far as the machlokes between Yam Shloim and the Marshal, when you knew what you were mekabel, you didn't know the value of what you were being mekabel. So the Mordechai says that you're potter. The Yam Shloim says you're chayiv. The Ktsoy says the pshat in the Yam Shloim is because you were mekabel to be shomer this item, and as far as the value goes, that doesn't go into your kabbalah. That goes into the metzias of the value of it, and that's worth the pshas, the pshia. Okay. I think that's the sugya.